there's nothing like cracking that cellophane, pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hey, everybody, it's Shawn Perry, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father. As always, bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and privilege to welcome Mr. Shawn Perry. Shawn Perry is an American singer, songwriter, guitarist, actor, and political activist. He is best known for his work on the MTV series Made, his guitar and amp company Valkyrie. Shawn also runs an independent recording studio called Rock City, and was a 2013 Scene Magazine nominee for Music Producer of the Year. Shawn has released his new single, 6 Feet Apart, and his new full-length album, Throwin Shade, is scheduled for release in January of 2021. So we're going to be talking to Shawn about all this stuff. So, Shawn, welcome to the show, and how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem whatsoever. So how you been doing, and what have you been up to during the pandemic other than talking and promoting the latest single, 6 Feet Apart?
Well, that was one of the things I did during the pandemic. Like, we were hoping to have the record out many months ago. Things kept getting pushed back, and, concert dates kept getting pushed back. So as a result of that getting pushed back, I actually wrote 2 new songs for the record. So one of them was 6 Feet Apart, and the other one's another song called I Love the 80s, or I Love You Like the 80s, which is going to be a real fun kind of mashup song that's going to go on the record. And, had I not had the extra free time and the album getting pushed back, neither of those would be showing up on the new record. So been doing that. I do competitive martial arts, so that finally started back up again. I was losing my mind, not fighting guys 4 or 5 days a week. So, other than that, man, I mean, no one's playing concerts, so I haven't really been doing that. I've played 1 show since this pandemic kicked in, and that was pretty cool. It was at a drive-in theater, so that was kind of rad. But other than that, man, just surviving like everybody else.
Let's go around that route here just a few minutes. Let's talk about the drive-in theater. How was that experience? Because I know Metallica's doing it, but what about you? How was this? Let's talk about that a little bit, because I want to know how it was.
Yeah, no, we actually opened for the Metallica movie. So Metallica's not playing at theaters. Right. Metallica did a special movie, so we opened up for it at a drive-in here in Ohio. So we played for an hour and a half before the Metallica movie came on. So that was pretty fun, man. It was pretty packed, but people were all, distanced, and they were at their cars and whatnot. And, we had a few folks like ventured kind of close to the stage, but not too close. But it was awesome. I mean, everybody loved it. Like, 'cause, everybody there hadn't been to a show all summer. So they were stoked. I mean, we're not quite, musically aligned with Metallica per se, but as far as like shredder guitar work goes, I mean, that all lines up, so that everybody was stoked, and they were happy to see us, and they lay on their horns after every song. And, because it was a Metallica thing, was one guy that kept yelling Slayer the whole time.
Oh my God.
We'll say his name was Gary. So after every song, Gary was like, Slayer. I'm like, dude, we'll play Raining Blood. Don't do it. So after like the 4th time, Corey starts playing the guitar riff of Raining Blood, and, you do what you do with the guy that yells Slayer at the concerts, So, dude, it doesn't matter what genre of music you play. Somebody's going to yell Freebird. Yeah. Somebody's going to yell Slayer. And you better know them, and we do. So whenever guys do that, that's what they get. And they're always like, whoa, I didn't think they'd do it. I'm like, what part about us made you think if you yell Slayer, we're not going to play Raining Blood, at least for 30 seconds? You know what I mean? It's like, so it was fun, man. We were glad that we got asked to do it. I mean, they could have asked, anybody to do it, and we got a chance to do it. So we were pretty stoked,
When you said Slayer, I thought of, oh God, Freebird. Freebird's another one. Freebird, play some Freebird.
We do that. We do it. We usually go into the end of it where the guitar solos are, but whenever some guy yells Freebird, we're like, all right, Corky, we're playing Freebird now. See what you did.
Coming into 2020 when this pandemic started, what was your realistic thoughts of this going on as long as it has? Did you think this would be something that would have been already subside? But what's your thoughts, man?
I didn't think it would be as bad as it is or as long as it was. I mean, as you know, crazy as things are, our manager was actually talking about putting us on a 30-day tour in China, possibly in the spring. And he had some contacts over in Asia. He did it with another one of his bands. And so January hits and he's like, hey, I don't think this is going to go down like we thought it was going to go down. And I'm just like, yeah, you think? So, yeah, I kind of knew, you know, when his guy over there was basically like, this is not going to happen, that once it hit stateside, it was going to be, you know, kind of crazy. I don't think anybody thought it would last as long as it did over here, other than the fact that, you know, I have a bunch of family that are hillbillies, and that urge to just yell America and do whatever you want is pretty strong over here. So, I mean, you can kind of blame that a little bit, you know, but I don't know about you, but I don't think anybody thought it would be this long. I think we thought it'd be like 2 weeks shutdown, maybe a month, not going on month 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? So I went to my first movie last week since March, and that's my other passion is like film and that kind of stuff. And, you know, not being able to go to the movies since, you know, before St. Patrick's Day kind of was killing me. You know, I'm sure there are a lot of folks out there that do that too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was happy. I got to go see New Mutants. I got to go see Tenet. I'm good for a little while.
You started writing 6 Feet Apart back in March, but you took it in a completely different direction, and your manager, Dennis Sanders, suggested this idea. So let's talk about that a little bit. What all happened? What transpired?
Oh, we were talking on the phone actually kind of about, you know, the China thing and him having like nothing going on and can't get anybody shows, and, you know, they can't even really put music out because like the label that I'm on is distributed through Universal. And they were basically like, don't even put anything out. You're just wasting it at this point. So just, you know, so we put stuff back, and Dennis was talking, and, you know, what I do, I'm, you know, a country artist, but I'm also a very rock and roll country artist. And we were talking, and Dennis said, you know, man, somebody should write a song called How Can I Love You if we're 6 feet apart, and make it a real old timey country song. And I'm like, Dennis, I'm not going to do that, but I'll write the song. So I wrote the song in like a day. It had a demo back to him, and, you know, so I mean, it's got a little country flavor, a little shake and bake going on, but it's way more, you know, a Van Halen ballad with a little bit of U2 guitar work, and the background vocals are very U2 inspired on that song. And those have been two of my favorite bands since I was a little kid. I mean, I grew up with those bands, and I've always, you know, pulled from them and Queen and that kind of stuff. No matter what style of music I'm doing, those three bands especially have always, you know, had a hand in what I do stylistically, and it was really cool. I think, I mean, personally, stylistically, I think it's the perfect match of you know, a Van Halen and U2 song, and I'm just happy that I got to do it and had a good excuse to, you know, mesh those styles together.
How much do you have written so far, possibly for another album or EP down the road?
Well, I'm always like a half an album ahead of myself. So I already had this other record done. I peeled 3 songs off of it that'll probably end up going on the next record. Then I wrote 2 brand new ones, and I already had like 3 or 4 songs for the next record. So I probably have 5 tunes for the record after this one. And I already have an album title for the next record. That's just the way I am. Like I'm always, you know, writing stuff, you know, stashing it away for the new record. Like when I put out my last EP, I had 3 of the songs written for this new record. And you know, they probably are the ones that are coming off in light of newer material. but that's just it works if you write a lot. I mean, I'm not like Prince. I don't write every day like he does. But it's fairly often, and I'll get ideas for something that I'll just, I'll hear a line on the news that sounds like a cool song title. I'm like, all right, that's a new one, and just make something around it. So, but I didn't write too much over the quarantine shutdown. I mostly tore my house apart and did home improvement projects, like half of America, man. It's crazy. Like, I don't know if anybody else is doing that or if anybody's tried to order any like musical equipment, but everything's out of stock, man. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Like we did a unboxing video. We hooked up with EVH, which is Eddie Van Halen's company, through Fender. And I've worked with other manufacturers before, and typically it's like, okay, well, I need this. And they're like, yeah, dude, we'll send it out the next day. And we had to wait a month to get 2 heads. You're supposed to get 4. They still don't have more to give us because they're allocated for, like retailers and whatnot. And then it took us another month to get the speaker cabinets. And so, I mean, if Fender's out of Fender products, I mean, that's stuff's crazy, and same thing with, working on my house, man. It took me 2 months to get a vanity, so it's crazy. Yeah, for folks that work in retail and construction, they're probably having a heck of a time right now.
Oh, it's the same way with like the sports guys that collect sports cards. The boxes of cards, like if you buy cases of cards, I mean, you're paying up to. This is no joke, folks. You think I'm lying when I'm telling you this, but it's no joke. You can go look it up at these online card shops and stuff. They want like $2,500 to $3,000, even upwards toward $25,000 to $30,000 in a case of cards. And I'm going, you got to be kidding me!
Unopened box of cards.
Yeah, a big case of cards that's not been opened. It's sealed, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
That's crazy. Well, hey, either somebody will pay it or they'll sit on it long enough to where they realize that they're nuts and they'll drop the price.
Yeah. This pandemic's what screwed everything up because they were threatening to shut down the card factories and stuff. Which I understand that.
Yeah,
I completely understand that.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. And on that note, I had a guy coming out. He was going to do that faux stone siding on the front of my house, and he gave me a price. Called me. Hey, this was yesterday. Said, hey, man, I can't do it for that. They doubled the price of the materials, so it's going to double the cost of the job. I'm like, no, we're going to wait on that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I can't do it, brother. Sorry.
Jeez.
So, but it's been crazy, man, and, once things got rolling, I kind of figured that's the way it was going to be. And, it's kind of part of what the song 6 Feet Apart is about, not as far as like getting materials, but as far as like it just affecting people's lives. I mean, the song is about, a couple having to deal with a situation and how does that affect folks? And, it also kind of asks the question, are the people in the song, are they 6 feet apart for the time being, or are they 6 feet apart forever? Is it something, kind of leave that up to the listener's interpretation of whether or not, they both made it through that, but, and unfortunately some folks are going to have to deal with that during this whole thing. I mean, knock on wood, and thank God it's, less than 1% fatality rate, but some folks are going to have to deal with that situation, So I kind of wanted to address that, but not do it in a, sappy acoustic ballad or, some tearjerker type song. I wanted to make it, an arena-worthy rock anthem, but also dealt with a heavy subject.
What's impressed or excited you the most about creating the new single 6 Feet Apart, if anything? What sticks out the most for you about it?
I always love being in the studio. I don't want to, I don't like dragging stuff out. So I was happy that with this one, I got to like write it and then get in the studio as soon as we could. Because sometimes if you're working on stuff, you sit on it for, a year sometimes or more before you get to put it for other people. But because the urgency, we kind of got this done right away. My favorite thing on the track is the big background vocals. I mean, like I'm always a sucker for that kind of stuff. And I think that's kind of what draws folks into it too. So that's my favorite part. All the big ohs, and the chorus is like, I think that's my favorite part.
Yeah, I kind of like the doo-wop stuff of the 1950s. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, we do a lot of that.
6 Feet Apart was produced by Ben Schigel, who's worked with Walls of Jericho, Chimera, Drowning Pool at Spider Studio in Cleveland, Ohio. And also this was mastered by Mayor Applebaum. I hope I said that correct. So working with these guys, did they get something out of you possibly, man, that nobody else may have gotten? Maybe? How was working with these folks?
Nah, I work with these guys all the time. So Ben and I have been working together off and on since I was like 16 years old, man. So he recorded like the first real record I ever did with my high school band. And, you know, I ventured out when I did my last single, Lawn Chair. And it came out really good, but I went to Nashville and did that there with a big Nashville producer and whatnot. And it came out really good, but I don't think it necessarily came out better than what I do with Ben. So when it came to doing the rest of the record, you know, since Ben and I are friends and we worked together so well, I just went back to Ben. I mean, we knocked out 6 Feet Apart in like 6 hours. So that's the kind of, you know, we have that shorthand with each other, and all the guys that play with it real good. So we knew what we were getting into. We just powered through it and got it done.
Now let's talk about your new full-length album, Throwin Shade, that's scheduled to Released in January 2021. Is 6 Feet Apart going to be on this, or no? Or is this just going to be a one standoff song?
Yeah. Nope. 6 Feet Apart will be on that record.
Okay.
And then it's going to have 11 tracks total. So 6 Feet Apart will be on that. My previous single, Lawn Chair, if your listeners want to check that out, that's on YouTube right now. There's a really awesome music video for it. We took it down off all the digital media sites like Spotify and whatnot because the label's going to re-release it probably around Christmas time. So that's going to be the lead single when we drop the record.
Any tracks standing out more to you than any right now that you can talk about on a new record that's going to come out? I know I don't much change every time you listen to it or you talk about it. I know these are your babies, but do you have any that stick out for you personally?
Yeah, there's a lot, man. The track I mentioned earlier, I Love You Like the 80s, is going to be a huge banger. And then there's a couple other ones that we've been playing live. Well, we've been playing the whole record live for a while. But specifically, listeners need to keep an ear out for 2 songs. One's called Hookin' Up, which I think is going to be just crazy, you know, blow the doors off everything single. And then there's another one called Slow Jam, which I can't tell you who it is, but we got a really, really famous rapper to agree to do a feature on it. So, it's gonna be crazy. So if it all goes down, that's gonna be a huge banger, man. So I'm pretty excited, man. And we got Cowboy Troy hopefully doing a feature on a song. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's part of that Big and Rich. Mm-hmm. So he said he'd do something for us. So we think we got that figured out what we're gonna do with him. So I'm excited, man. It's going to be a huge record. I can't wait for everybody to hear it. Was there a song that you were working on that totally ended up sounding different or took a major turn on the album? Yeah, that actually would be the song I mentioned earlier. Well, 2 of them, actually. Lawn Chair ended up quite a bit different, the finished version. When I first wrote it, I wrote it on a ukulele, and it was like a little thing. And then it ended up being this, you know, huge, epic radio pop song. And then, sorry, my pit bull was wanting to play with me. He's like, Daddy, play with me. And then the song Hookin' Up actually changed quite a bit. It ended up getting some like hip hop drum loops and stuff in it. Like I about a year and a half ago, I saw a documentary about the Roland 808, like the drum machine from the 80s. Mm-hmm. And I went out and bought one. And I have found very good ways to use it on this record. So there's a lot of layering of like the old school 808 with like real drums, and then like fake drums that sound real, and real drums that sound fake. And that's a little thing I learned from Marilyn Manson when I was a kid. Like I saw an interview with him about how he likes to like, you know, mess with people's brains and make things that are real sound artificial, and things that are artificial sound real. And I'm like, all right, well, we're going to do some of that. So, yeah, if you're going to buy an instrument and pay a lot of money for it, or any type of thing like that, put the time and effort in to study it, because, man, you don't know what you can come up with that thing. Oh, Oh yeah, man, it's really cool. I'll do you a solid and send you some of the preview tracks, and you can let me know what you think about them.
Yeah.
But I think that they're awesome.
What do you hope everyone takes away, or message you hope they hear while listening to any of your music in general, man? What do you hope they get from it?
I want people to have fun, man. I've been saying this forever. Like, ever since like the mid '90s, it seems like, with the possible exception of the ska and the pop punk movement, like rock and roll has gotten way too depressing. Like, I'm not into any of the, super heavy, dour, active rock stuff that comes out. I want folks to have fun with it. I think, there's a lot of country artists that are fun to listen to, and I want to bring that back to rock, man. I want to bring back, fun music. It can still be heavy, it can still melt your face, but it needs to be fun, and that's kind of what I want, folks to get out of my stuff. I want them to have fun with it. I want them to, want to come see us live and, throw a party, not, get angry and punch people in the face. That's for on the mat.
I would say this right now, and I'm glad you mentioned that. There was a metal band that I absolutely love, Devil Driver. They did their own version of Outlaws Till the End, and God, that album,
cool.
Yes, that album is so cool. Like all these country songs that they did, so good, man, so good. And I'm glad that they crossed barriers. That's the crossover. I think was very, very awesome for them to do and step out of that box.
Yeah, I remember those guys, man. They're good. I assume they're still around, but yeah.
Yeah, they got a new album coming out October 9th. You have Demons Volume 1? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's cool.
What made you, Shawn, want to become a musician? What was it spark for you, if you can recall, that said, I want to try this or even attempt it?
Oh, it was absolutely David Lee Roth and Michael Jackson, like when I was 3.
Nice.
That was pretty much it, man. And like, I used to go around, I'd dress up like that when I was a little kid. Like I made my mom buy me like, the Michael Jackson glove and like the fake leather jacket and all the David Lee Roth stuff. I didn't have like, buttless spandex pants or anything because I was like a child. But that was like what, that's when I really started, getting into that and singing and performing but it was probably like on top of that, it was probably the Freddie Mercury tribute concert. I remember watching that when I was a kid too. And that, anyone who hasn't seen that, go on YouTube, look for it. If you got to pay for it to rent it, do it. But that's one of the most just amazing musical experiences. Like I to this day, I've never seen anything that cool where all those artists came together to honor him. Mm-hmm. And, I was aware of Queen as a child, but that was when I really, let's back up. Wayne's World happened like 2 months before that, if I'm not mistaken. So that's when I think everybody from my generation really discovered Queen, was through that. And then from that, I started, I went out and bought, all their CDs, they reissued them. And then that concert, I think, really, changed my life. Like that's when I started really playing and, taking lessons and like, put a band together with my friends. And, ever since that, I've been playing and I've been, doing music as a full-time gig, either performing or as a teacher since I was like 21. So, I mean, it's been, my whole life, man. I started gigging out when I was like 13, and then that's it, man. So really those three things. So really it was Michael and David Lee Roth and, just that whole Freddie Mercury tribute concert. I will say this though, I'm a bigger Sammy Hagar fan than David Lee Roth fan. Some people might get upset about that, but I am 100% Team Sammy. So that's my dude.
I think Sammy did a good job. I honestly think they couldn't. I don't know. I think he filled in very, very well. Very well.
Well, he took the band in directions they couldn't have gone with Dave either. And that's the thing that, I think musicians that really know the difference between the two guys realize that, especially as a vocalist. Like, I've been approached by a few bands to do Van Halen tribute bands. And I'm not really into that. So I kind of always, turn it down. But when I go to the auditions, they're always like, anybody can do the Dave stuff. I'm like, let's do some Sammy songs. I can sing that, you know. And I think that's the difference. I mean, you know, when Sammy joined Van Halen, he did a bunch of Dave songs. Well, there is, you know this, if you listen to music, there's no way Dave's doing a Sammy song. He can't do it.
No.
He can't sing right now.
No.
You know, or Top of the World, or, you know, you name it, Dave can't do those tunes, you know. So it is what it is, man. But, you know, I'm Van Hagar for life, brother.
Is there a country that stands out or shocks you that you get support from, or your music even gets played in, possibly? Is there anything that stands out for you?
I used to be in a metal band called Switchblade Scarlet, and Corey, our other guitar player, was in that band as well. Through that band, like, I had a bunch of fans from Japan and Russia that we picked up just because it was, you know, kind of an 80s flavored rock thing. And they've followed me into a solo career. So, I mean, we have fans from, you know, kind of all over the place. And we've gotten, I know Lawn Chair got a bunch of radio play when I put that out in Australia and England. So, I mean, yeah, and nothing surprised me, man. Like, you know, I encourage Americans to, you know, kind of remove the blinders of, you know, living in their own American box. Cause there's a lot of folks around the world that like are huge fans of American artists. And, you know, I think that it's a good way to make friends around the world. You know, I have guys messaging me all the time asking me when I'm putting new music out. And they're from, you know, Belarus or wherever they're from. So it's kind of cool, man. Like, you know, you wouldn't get that stuff without putting music out, I don't think, you know, so pretty cool.
Did you have a go-to album when you were growing up, possibly, or maybe a song that just, you know, gave you inspiration or just let you escape to think things are going to be better, possibly, maybe?
Ooh, that's actually a really good question. And I will tell you that I have specific songs and specific playlists for certain tasks or moods. So I know this probably sounds nuts, and I'll just kind of go through a couple of them because, like, I'm sure the lady that lives upstairs, we own a duplex. I'm sure she thinks I'm nuts sometimes. If I'm doing, like, housework that I really don't want to do, I have a CNC Music Factory station that I programmed on Pandora.
Oh,
it's
no.
Oh, yeah, man. It's all that, like, just gets super hype, like that early 90s, just, you know, in-your-face dance music. Because, dude, I'm just being honest, okay? If I don't want to, like, mop the floors, there is nothing that's going to make me do it more than going to make it sweat. Or, like, pump up the jam, you know, and, like, I'll fight you. Like, talk about it. I'll fight you. If I'm doing, like, tedious, like, yard work, or, like, if I'm taking a dog for a walk, that's my old school hip-hop station. That's my Snoop Dogg and Naughty by Nature. And if I'm doing, like I told you, I do, like, martial arts and whatnot. Like, if I'm doing that or lifting, it's got to be Pantera.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So you have to listen to metal when you're doing that, you know? Or you flip-flop, you should listen to Rick Astley, and you get pissed for a whole different reason. Like, oh, God, I'm going to bench press 1,000. Put on Rick Astley. I'm going to get super pissed.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But other than that, you know, I mean, you know, I have to sit down and think about it. But, you know, there are songs I think, you know, I remember, like, going through a bad breakup when I was, like, 15. And the Blessed Union of Souls song, Hey Leonardo, that one was a good one. As far as that, I don't know if you guys remember that song. She Likes Me for Me from, like, 1995.
Maybe.
Google it. You'll know when you hear it. Well, that was cool because I got to play a show with those guys last fall, so that was pretty fun.
Oh, that's nice.
And then, and then there's another one by Alanis Morissette. I have to look it up. But, like, you know, I was the age, you know, when everybody's, you know, going through their first heartache, like 14, 15. That was like 95. So pretty much anything from that year has a special place for me as far as, like, sentimentality goes, no matter how dumb the song is. It reminds me of some girl I dated, I'm sure. So
So let me ask you this: when you're listening to CNC Music Factory, are you the neighbor that gets so pumped up that you will knock on everybody's door and go, "Yeah, let's go, come on"? Are you that neighbor?
Oh yeah, or like like the doing the arm pump thing. I'll just walk up to you and headbutt you. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, My wife and I often joke on that note, going door to door. Like we will occasionally get like Jehovah's Witnesses or someone trying to sell, some fake third party energy company. So we've taken to like asking them if they want to accept the gospel of Prince into their hearts. We're like knocking on their door and be like, "Excuse me, we'd like to tell you about the religious experience of Elton John. Would you like to learn more about Sir Elton?" So same idea. So they come trying to sell us stuff, and we're going to tell them about Prince.
Electric Love.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly.
Shawn, how can folks stay in touch with you, buy some merchandise, this new album when it comes out, everything that you got going on? How can they do that, good sir?
I am super easy to find. So if you want to look up 6 Feet Apart or my 2016 EP Country Girls, that's on any place that sells digital music. You can find it there. Lawn Chair will be put back out again here in a month or so, but you can watch the music video now on YouTube. It's awesome. So check it out. There's a bunch of beautiful scenery and Corvettes and all kinds of fun stuff. And then we're dropping a new music video for 6 Feet Apart in October. We're going to film it last week of this month. There's a great stop motion lyric video out on YouTube right now. So check that out. And then social media, real easy. If it's YouTube or Facebook, it's Shawn Perry Official. And on Twitter and Instagram, it's the Shawn Perry. Or you can go to my website, which is ShawnPerry.country.
And before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Absolutely. Hey, everybody, it's Shawn Perry, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey, everybody, stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Hour podcast. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, YouTube link, and please subscribe to our YouTube link because we are on almost every platform that's out there, and you definitely want to subscribe and keep up with what we're doing. Also, get out and check out Shawn Perry's music. You will not be disappointed. And just give him a chance, folks. Get out and listen to 6 Feet Apart and the new album that's coming out, Throwin Shade, that's scheduled to be released in January of 2021. So give him a fair chance, folks. Shawn, man, I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And anytime you want on here, you can.
Awesome, man. Oh, absolutely, man. Thanks for having me, dude. Appreciate it.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.